In this video, you're going to learn one very simple trick, which is going to help you with your footwork to make it more dynamic, more faster. I'm also going to give you some exercises at the end so that you can practice doing this. Hi, I'm Andy Wake, head coach at Boxercise. Over 29 years, I've taken 1,100 Boxercise courses, training over 18,000 people and been responsible for the development of 28,000. This is our YouTube channel. I hope you like it. This very simple trick is called dorsiflexing your foot. When you dorsiflex your foot, it means you're pulling your toes up towards your knee rather than pushing them down towards the ground. This is dorsiflexion. This is plantar flexion. Think of plantar flexion as being planting your foot into the ground. Dorsiflexion is the other way. So why do we do it? It's a very common method employed by sprinters to make sure that when the foot hits the ground, it doesn't absorb a lot of energy. If my toe is pulled up to my knee, when I strike the ground, it will rebound much faster, retain much more energy, and be much more dynamic. However, if my foot is plantar flexed like this, it will absorb some of the shock. Let's have a look at what that looks like when we're moving around. I would call this lazy feet. So if I'm moving around, you can see that there's quite a lot of flexion going on here at my ankles. To explain flexion, flexion is the angle closing down like this as I move around. Now, if I already put my foot into a pre-flexed position, I pull my toes up towards me like this. When I move, you'll notice that my ground contact time is very much quicker. This means I can move in and out of range faster. But we have a problem. There's an awful lot that we need to think about when we're boxing. And what we can't do is we can't think so much about our feet that we forget what we're doing with our hands. So how do we get round this? Well, the way that we do it is by bringing this into every part of all of our training. So for example, when I'm doing my sprint training, I would do it then. When I'm doing my exercises as warm-ups for my sprint training, that's when we do it. So what we do is if I'm doing bum kicks, which is a good warm-up for the hamstrings when I'm going to do my sprint training, what I will do is I will pull my toes, before I start, pull my toes up towards my knees, then begin the exercise like that, and then I would move there. When I'm doing high knees, which is a good warm-up for the front of the legs and the hip flexors, what I would do is I pull my toes up and keep doing that whilst I do that exercise. And the coach is reminding me, toes up, toes up, toes up, all the time. Now, when we can do it in those circumstances, we can then use this and we can transfer the skills then into other aspects of training, such as when we do a footwork round. So as a warm-up, one of my favorite warm-ups, 3 rounds of 3 minutes or 3 rounds of 2 minutes doing footwork. Just literally moving around like this, occasionally throwing the odd jab, bit of head movement, just relax. It's a nice warm-up. But again, the coach needs to be saying, pull the toes up all the time. Keep the toes up. It will keep the dynamicism in there. And you're going to find this tiring. You're going to find this hard. You're going to find that you get fatigued and you cough because this is not something that you're used to. There is more eccentric work being done by the calf. If you don't know what that means, see our other videos on the subject. After a while, we can start to do it on the bag too. That's the next step. Practice this on the bag. After that, we can then start to do this on pads with the trainer. The coach will be calling out the shots and at the same time saying toes up, toes up, toes up. Now, at this point, you should be starting to notice that your footwork is going to be more dynamic. You'll be taking crisper shots, particularly the jab and cross. You're going to notice that even more. At the stage that you start to notice it makes a difference on the pads, that's when to put it into sparring. So begin with drills first. then put it into your sprinting, then put it into your bag work, then put it into your pad work, and then put it into sparring. And that skill will grow over time. Don't try and do everything all at once. If it doesn't make your footwork better, then I will do you 100 burpees. I promise it works. It's absolutely proven to work in other sports, especially in sprinting. We reduce that ground contact time and we make our footwork more dynamic. I hope that's been helpful and you enjoyed it. If you liked that video, click subscribe and all the other stuff. Cheers.